I'll do cute things you can edit.
Thanks. I'm Clark Fannin from Hauskatze magazine. I'm pleased to be joined again by the wonderful, talented Lipsticism. Thank you so much for meeting with us again and talking about your music.
Yeah, for sure.
So last time we talked, you were in the process of getting wrapped up your upcoming album.
Yeah.
And also mentioned you were recording some music with your other band, Immaterialize.
Yeah.
Do you want to just talk about kind of what you've been up to in the last few months?
Yeah. Well, the album with Immaterialize, we finished that last summer.
Got it.
The last few months, I've been working on the next Lipsticism album. Yeah, the process of that has been fun.
Yeah.
I didn't really know I was going to end up with another album, but just sort of happened.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this time around, I know last time we got a little bit of a chance to talk about some of your influences just in general. And for your last album, for this time around, what were some new influences as you were writing?
Well, it was the end of summer and early fall. And so that's a time I listen to a lot of like broadcasts. It just feels like that band broadcasts, Cocteau Twins. Like, I don't know. Yeah. What else? What do they got? Strawberry Switchblade. Do you know that band?
I think
like
so.
All girls. Like, yeah. Yeah, those are some things, some
That's
bands
awesome.
that come to mind. Yeah.
Aside from bands, like I know we talked a bit last time about experiences or places, just like inspiration coming from other things. And I know you mentioned in your interview with the Substack mailer with Phantom Limb a little bit about like dance floor nights, summer nights, experiences that kind of have influenced or inspired some of your songs. Like specifically there, you're talking about just this album's got comes a lot more from dancey music. It just has more of those elements. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, when I was writing those answers for Phantom Limb, it was the first time I put it together. Oh, I think I'm way more likely to make dance music when I'm doing that, when I'm having more experiences going out dancing. And yeah, something about the summer. I think I have more physical energy with there being more daylight. And it's just it is so interesting how every part of your experience as a human comes out in what you're making. And I am not always aware of it at the time, but I am when I look back.
That's interesting for you to say that, like, that was the first time you'd kind of put that together about yourself. I think that's something a lot of people that make art would resonate with, is that idea of everything, all of your experiences kind of come together sometimes to form what you're creating, you know, your art. I mean, it's hard to separate who you are and what you've experienced, I think, from what you're creating sometimes.
Yeah.
You can do it, but
I don't want to do that though.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like sometimes I'm tempted to be more I guess intentional about the boundaries of a project. Like, okay, I want the album to sound really cohesive, but in practice I never want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to filter any inspiration, anything I'm feeling. And that might mean that the album has a mix of genres, or is just a little bit like, less cohesive in a certain way. And I struggle with that sometimes. Like, oh no, should it be more cohesive? But ultimately, I think, speaking to myself, like, I should just do whatever I want. And not worry about those things. Yeah.
Totally. I feel that all the time when I feel like a lot of times that inspiration for me can come from a specific genre or scene or, you know, there's something specific with kind of a set of, I don't know if boundaries is the right word, but, you know, genres exist for a reason. They are a way to categorize music,
Yeah.
in my opinion. And you know, when I'm feeling that inspiration, maybe from a particular thing, a lot of the time I start out from that place. But as I go on, you know, I do think I don't want to be limiting myself and trying to just create something inside that box.
Yeah.
As much as I feel inclined to do that sometimes, in order to feel good about what I'm making. You know,
Right.
like I feel like sometimes I create something and it's maybe it's outside the box, but you know, if it's not like anything I've ever heard, sometimes I get self-conscious about that.
Yeah, it can go either way,
Yeah.
right? Like sometimes
think-
I'm like, this isn't like anything I've heard. Awesome. And then other times I'm like, oh, that's scary. Like,
Yeah.
what is this? Where does it fit?
I know. Yeah, just but I guess that's where innovation happens, and that's where exciting ideas come from. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Super cool. I saw you're going on tour with Devin Schaefer so soon. That's really, really exciting. Have you guys been hanging out a lot as of recent?
She lives in New York, so not as
Got it.
much as I would like, but I met Devin in high school,
Oh, really?
and yeah, she's best friend and has been for a really long time. So we're talking every day,
That's
like
awesome.
throughout the day, but I don't get to see her as much. So it'll be really nice to spend a lot of time in the car together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Have you guys made music before hanging out?
No, we talk about it,
Yeah.
but she might like come on stage and perform a few of my songs with me.
That would be really
Yeah,
cool.
sing them
That
with me.
sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know any of her songs?
I could sing some with her,
Yeah.
but or like add keyboard part or something. That's
Yeah,
an
that's
idea.
cool.
I hadn't thought of
That's
that.
pretty
I'll
cool.
run that by her. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm sure you're really excited about that tour.
Yeah.
Remind me, when is the Chicago date for that?
July 3rd.
July
I'm
3rd.
pretty
Awesome.
sure.
And that's at
Yeah.
Empty Bottle?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. Let me pull up next
Yeah,
question.
for sure. No.
Oh, sure.
We're getting cheered on.
Have you traveled at all since we last got to talk?
Travel. Just like in my life wait, I think, did I tell you that last time we talked, a few days before that, I was
You were coming back from, was it the Netherlands?
It was Norway, but I was in Iceland like
That's
2 days, like right before.
That's
the
really
show.
awesome. Was that
Yeah.
the last big trip you were on?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. What did you take from that trip?
Oh, that I want to do it again.
Yeah.
That the Northern Lights really are like as cool as everyone says.
That's really cool.
They are.
My girlfriend got to go see the Northern Lights in Finland
hell yeah.
this winter. She said the same thing. So cool.
Yeah.
Very jealous.
Yeah.
That's awesome. While you were there, what kind of headspace were you in for that trip? Was that like a break from
That's a good
music and
question.
from life, or was it were you kind of there getting inspiration, what were you looking for? Were you looking for anything?
I wasn't looking for that specifically, inspiration, but I think I for sure found it. I keep a note on my phone of inspiration, whether it's lyrical or sounds I want to incorporate. So yeah, I think some of the experiences I had on that trip found their way into songs. But there was a lot of driving, and so listening to music while driving, looking at the scenery, was just so fun and amazing, but also really inspiring.
That's really awesome. Yeah. Have you ever heard of the photographer Sasha? I might butcher this pronunciation,
The horses
but
and stuff?
yeah, the horses.
Yeah.
His artwork or his photography is something that's been on my mind a little bit lately, and not to draw any sort of direct comparison between your work and anyone else's, but sometimes looking at some of your artwork that you've put out for, whether it's for album covers or
Yeah.
just for promo. I see some similarities in
Mm.
one quote I think I read from your Phantom Limb
Mhm.
interview was something about finding beauty in bleakness.
Yeah.
I think in my head, like, parts of Iceland or the parts that I want to go to
Yeah.
embody that a little bit. It makes me think too of Sasha's photography.
Mhm.
The horses
Yeah.
are a parallel. I don't know.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with their artwork or with their photography? Do you draw inspiration at all?
Yeah. I love their photography.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. This is like getting stuck. You talking about bleakness made me have a lot of thoughts. I feel like there's different kinds of bleakness, of course. Like there's sort of like that Arctic bleakness, and then there's there's like bleakness found in nature, but then there's bleakness in spaces where nature has been really destroyed,
Sure.
like a lot of the Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. Like I hadn't drawn that connection, but I feel like the Midwest can feel so bleak because of the winters, like much like the Arctic. Like maybe there is something bleak about really cold climates.
Mm-hmm.
Things aren't growing.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know how it translates sonically. There's a musician, I think from northern Norway, Biosphere.
Oh, I haven't heard of them.
Yeah. I love it. I just like, I love sounds that conjure that in some way.
Mm-hmm.
I forget your exact question. I just went off.
I kind of do
there.
too.
Okay.
I was just wanted to bring up the photographer and maybe draw a couple parallels because I for one, the horses, but two, the I don't know, just visually I see similarities. I feel like I connect to both of you guys' art in similar ways. So I don't know. Just thought it was maybe
Thank you.
a comparison worth making.
I'm honored because it's like gorgeous photography.
I think so too. Your point about different types of bleakness brings to mind another quote from that interview where you said something about liking music that is, I might get this wrong, but like disturbing or but in like a safe or in a beautiful way. I think I'm kind of curious about that. Do you ever connect with music for its quality of being maybe disturbing, harsh, but like without that beautiful quality?
I was just thinking that, or wondering about that myself before you asked that question. Like,
and if you need examples, I can tell
kind
you
of
what
am
I'm
curious
thinking.
what you're thinking. Yeah.
I feel like there are times you talked about, like, I guess this just plays into the conversation at large about time and place for music and how experiences play into it all. But when I think of like what I'm listening to in like the middle of January, it's like 9 degrees. I'm walking to work early morning to the train, and sometimes like that's just harsh noise music or just something that's purely textural, purely I don't know. Sometimes it feels like music like that touches on something that I think little else can, and maybe taps into a feeling or a I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it resonates with me in a way that other things don't.
I'm gonna need some recommendations.
Sure. I'm thinking Merzbow, which is just pure noise. Sometimes that's a little tough to listen to. There's a band from Dublin, Gilla Band. Have you ever heard of them? No, they've got some really interesting music, really noisy rock. I think sometimes just the wall of sound, something that taps into something a little more, I guess, paranoid, for lack of a better
Oh,
word.
cool.
Um,
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. That's
Wait,
a,
what's paranoid?
what's that?
What like? I want to know more about that. Like how that
Sure.
feels like it taps into paranoia.
I feel like as a person who can just be naturally really
Me too.
internally anxious and
Yeah.
feel really big feelings
Yeah.
along those lines. I think
Yeah.
sometimes just music like that can feel like it's like digging it out or digging into. I don't know. It's just it's a big feeling
It just feels.
sometimes. And
No, I know what you mean. Like it's so hard to put into words when music feels resonant.
Mhm.
And it like, yeah, reminds you of experiences you have internally.
I think this maybe is a good segue into the point that we talked a lot about last time. The things that are beautiful, familiar, but also something is not quite right there.
Yeah.
Something's a little off.
Yeah.
While I was thinking about that point a lot more, something that kept coming to mind for me was vaporwave. Is that something you have a lot of experience? I do too.
I love past tense, and
yes.
I currently do too. But I drifted away a little bit, like not intentionally.
Just, well, it was like it was labeled like a dead genre. Like it felt like it lived its life kind of on the internet.
It had a time period.
Yeah, for sure. But I couldn't stop thinking about I don't know if you do. I associate liminal spaces with vaporwave a lot, and I kind of didn't really think about why. But I got to thinking more about that, and I was thinking about just I mean, they do share that quality of like an off-putting familiarity. Right. Something's not quite right there. Like you know, so many of the liminal space photographs that were floating around on the internet are places that many people have been, the mall or you know, a kid's play place or something. But just to have it framed in a different context changes the way people connect with it. Reframes it as art. Like so. My first thought. Have you heard? I know One of Tricks Point Never is on your playlist. Have you heard his project, Chuck Person's Echo Jams?
I love.
I remember the first.
Do you? We're getting our approval on that one.
Not of approval. I remember the first time hearing that, though. It was like, it like broke the fourth wall or something for me. It was how I thought about it. It was like the opening song is playing off of Toto by Africa by Toto. And like that's a song I had heard so many times and hear it in such a polished context over and over again. And then to hear it as if it's coming through like a malfunctioning tape recorder or something, like it was that like additional layer or additional medium through it. That kind of blew my mind a little bit.
I feel like it gets so close to the experience of memory. And I think that's what's really cool about it.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, like it's in memory, things aren't as vivid as they were when you were experiencing them at the time you were, and they can also get really distorted, and you can question your memory a lot, like and so it's so cool for there to be a musical or sonic like representation of that, or something that just feels like, whoa, this really feels like an internal experience I have with memory. I think you talking about spaces that we all collectively have been to and know of, especially like the mall, which was so, for me growing up at least, like so central. It was so booming. It was like so amazing, and then times changed, and it's like a lot of them are like decaying, and I don't know, that there can be sonic qualities just make you think about that too, like the warpedness of a lot of vaporwave.
I think it's so interesting too how sometimes those changes are so subtle. Like I remember hearing, again, when I heard vaporwave for the first time, like the that album specifically, I remember not being that blown away by it because to me the composition wasn't all that different, and I think it took time for me to understand that what was being conveyed there was being conveyed more or by more than composition but this was it's subtle things, a little bit of reverb on it, a little bit of, or a lot of reverb, a lot of compression. But those come together to kind of present it in an entirely new light.
Like recently, so cool. Me too. Yeah, that's a good point too. I think I had a similar experience. Like, wait, this is just someone else's song. What are you doing? But just the feeling of hearing it a little different, or somebody hearing a song and like maybe you see their idea of like, oh, I think this would sound really cool slowed down. I don't know. One of the best experiences I've had with music recently was just Lana Del Rey's Summertime Sadness, like ultra slowed down. And it's a totally different feeling than listening to the...
How slowed down?
Like very... But
like the Justin Bieber like 800 times slowed down, like ambient
he posted that to his story the other day. I loved that so much.
That's so funny.
Yeah. No, you could still hear the lyrics, but they put it being that slowed down made them so much sadder.
Sure.
Like there's a lyric in Summertime Sadness that's like, think I'll miss you forever. And that just so slow was so much more tragic than in her original song. And I think that's what I was trying to say. Like when you alter a composition that already exists, you can influence the emotion. Like you can put like a magnifying glass on the emotion in a certain, or change it a little.
I really like that lens of it of like, no pun intended, of the magnifying glass. Because like how I had thought about it was just almost like, not taking away from the original intent or whatever, but reframing it. But I like the idea of zooming in on it and amplifying it via something. I think that's cool if you feel like you could do that. Look at someone's work and go, like, I can make this more impactful.
Or just different impact. Yeah. My friend Angel Fire Tools, she has a whole, I forget what it's called, I have to ask her. Put it in the comments or something. She has a whole project where she does that, like she slows down songs, and I love it.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What do you see in the future of music?
In general?
That's a broad question.
What do I see? And I'm looking into the camera for this serious question. The future of music. It's like so easy to not have hope about a lot of things, music included. I think because, I don't know a bunch about how it was to be a band in the 90s or like 80s or like pre-streaming, but I hear a bunch of people, talk about how it's really financially difficult to put a lot of time and energy into music, even if it's getting a lot of attention sometimes. I don't know. I think a hopeful part of me wants to say that we find a different way. Like we find a way to make it more possible. We were talking about this like before starting the camera, but the sort of like difficulty with vulnerability right now because of just like the widespread discomfort with it, or like how quick people are to call things cringe.
Sure.
I could see that shifting.
Yeah.
I could see people just being like, I'm so sick of this.
I don't know how you feel. I agree that I feel like it, maybe it's naive for me to say, I don't know. I feel like it's coming to a head. I feel like, just with everything seems kind of wrapped up in one right now. Doom scrolling, just where people are at mentally right now. Everyone's exhausted. I hear everything talked about as like a recession indicator.
Yeah.
You know, it just feels like we're getting to a point, and it's just people are gonna. My hope is that, I don't know, maybe there will be a little bit of a reset for certain things.
Yeah.
Just how we're viewing or talking about things, or I don't know. I guess all you can be is hopeful.
Yes.
But
yes, I agree.
Oh, I'd love to talk a little bit about digital art in general. Is that something that you spend a good amount of time on? And I bring it up because just browsing around your page, seeing that you had made some art for Materialized for one of your projects, just kind of curious about how, when did you get into it? How much do you do it? Where does inspiration for that come from?
I was more into it, or got into it, maybe like when I first started getting into music. But I've never gotten a bunch of skills in that area or spent that much time doing it. I love photographic art. I feel like a lot of not all of my album covers, but a lot of them are just photographs. And I love like going through Flickr and finding things that are just cool or evocative in some way. So I love art. When you're saying digital art, what are you thinking?
I guess I'm thinking of the one thing I'm picturing is was an album cover. I believe it just looks like bringing together certain elements into just an album cover. And I think about I am curious about your photos. Do you direct the photography for your album covers or for the photo art that you produce?
Yeah. The last one, my album Wanted to Show You, I just talked with my friend Jordan about the idea, and actually we just drove around 4th of July last year, looking for spots in the suburbs, and we found this like corporate space that had been, I don't know if it was abandoned, but not in use for a really long time. And there's a bunch of like cracks in the concrete and things growing out of it. And yeah, it felt very liminal. So that was sort of like a co-direction with Jordan. But he's great. Like, he's somebody who you can just like communicate or I was able to communicate my vision with, and he was like, say no more. Like, let's go. I got this.
That's a satisfying thing.
Yeah.
It must be.
Yeah.
That's really cool. No, I really, again, I feel like I've connected a lot with the photographic artwork that you've put out, and I think it connects so well, or just embodies the vibe or the aesthetic of your music so well.
Well, thank
keep
you.
Putting it out. It's
no,
cool.
no, that like is I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I feel like talking about the music a lot, but not about the visual part that much. So yeah, just thank you. That's like cool to know that you see it. Or I don't know if you're saying this, if it feels like it gels. Or...
It does.
Okay.
I think that's a hard thing to get right. It's a hard thing to, as someone who's tried to put together some music and then tried to throw some artwork with it, you know, sometimes I think it's an underrated part of the putting
I'm
it
sure
out.
It was cool as hell. I'm sure it was really cool.
So yeah, keep that up.
Thanks.
Yeah. Let's see. What era of the internet did you grow up? Did you grow up pretty online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Jordan about this. I mean, do you feel that way? Or
like for myself,
yeah.
I was entirely online.
The moment that like a computer was available to me, I was just like, hell yeah.
Yeah. You're speaking my language. I don't think I got off it.
No, it was a problem.
Yeah.
It was a problem for me as a kid. I was like, don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
Don't want to go anywhere, really. Like, I love this. Yeah.
What kind of, so yeah, like what, I guess, I don't know if era is a good way to ask it, but what were some of your favorite websites or games, or what were you doing on the computer at that age?
I had a Neopets era. I had a Habu Hotel. I don't know if you've heard of that. Sure. I had a Sims. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for some reason I was like drawn to, what are they called when there's not really an objective, but you're just like living life as
I don't know the name for it. Yeah, but sure.
Yeah.
That's great.
And then loved chatting with my friends, just being in constant, I still feel this way, constantly texting or like being on AIM. Mm-hmm. And then there was MySpace. So yeah, those were things what about you?
Yeah, I guess my era was a little different, but it was like Penguin, Webkins.
Yeah.
Earlier, like miniclip.com, right after. But like earlier than that, like before there was any sort of goal, I just remember my dad showing me the computer at like 2 or 3 and just showing me Google and like, look, you can give it a question and it'll give you what you want. And once that clicked in my head, and once I kind of was able to sit down and type out that just blew my mind. It was just, from then on, the computer was such a, I don't know if that's a good thing, but the computer was like front and center in my mind for a lot of my childhood. I think that
still in your life now?
Yeah.
Same.
I spend a lot of
time
in front of a computer.
Me too. Yeah.
By choice. So
same.
I don't know. I wouldn't have traded growing up on the internet for anything. I think it's made me a lot of who I am.
Yeah.
But I think it's good now that I also value experiences outside of that and understand that kind of they can I don't know, they can be good for each other.
They can. A lot of people say like you don't have anything to write about if you don't go have real experiences. Mm-hmm. I like sort of agree. I think you can always mine from somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I don't think you really need experiences, but if the well is running dry, so to speak, like you can having experiences traveling or mm-hmm. with people or at shows or just in any way in the real world can really help you have something to say and feel inspired.
Do you ever feel like you get to a point with like your creative process or like just life where you just kind of have to go take like a purposeful break and like try to regroup or I don't know, get back to a point of where you feel like inspiration might come naturally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have sometimes where I'm really frustrated.
Yeah.
I will really try to open up my DAW and like make something happen, and it's when it doesn't happen, it can be really like really sad.
Yeah.
but it does. So far, it's always come back.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm trying to work on patience and telling myself like, okay, go like live. It'll come back. I think that's the fear though, that it won't, and that I'm like, I'm done and nothing. I'm not gonna feel that intuitive feeling mm-hmm. of creating, which I think that's it. It feels like it's writing itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you just like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think things feel so different in that moment when you're creating, if they're just flowing versus really trying to, like, you're frustrated and trying to mm-hmm. make it happen.
But what's cool, what's cool sometimes though is I'll come back to a project that I thought I didn't like, mm-hmm. and then I will see it in a different light, and I'll be like, or I'll send it to somebody for collaboration, mm-hmm. and they see something in it, and so it's not lost time or lost effort.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I do think that. I think anytime you're working, you're moving forward. I think nothing you do is a waste of time, right? Like
Yeah.
there's something to be gained
But I have
from
that
anything.
voice
Yeah.
that's like,
Yeah.
I don't know where it comes from or what it is, but it just feels like, yeah, I'm like TikTok, like wasting time. I don't know. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
I think that's something that everyone feels sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you are in the process of writing, are you someone who like shares what you're working on with friends or family?
I used to.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where I saw this, but I saw I think it was an account that was like psychology tricks. And it was like if you share something before it's done, you're less motivated to finish it.
Wow, I feel that.
Do you
really
feel
heavily,
that?
yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, I think I feel that. I think that is the case for me. So I'm not going to. I'm going to wait till I have an album.
Yeah.
And then also, I love getting feedback from people. I find it so helpful. But I was feeling like really confused showing a lot of people because a lot of people had ideas about the composition, about the mixing.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was losing the ability to access my thoughts or my voice or even, yeah. So it scares me that I didn't really show many people, especially my next thing, because I'm like, what if it's bad? Like, what if these people could have helped me make it not bad?
Yeah.
But I wanted to try. I was asking myself the question, what would happen if I didn't ask anybody and I just trusted myself?
I think there's a lot of value in that. You're making me want to try that. I feel like I totally feel that after sending something to someone, I almost feel like, even though there's not, and I feel like I always send like a big disclaimer, bigger than I need to, like, oh, it's not finished, there's so many parts.
I'm so disclaimery too, yeah.
But then there feels, or I feel sometimes like an element of, maybe finality is not the right word, but it feels like once I've exported it in that state, I get used to listening to it in that state, listening back to try to find things. Sometimes it's just a lot harder for me to come up with anything to add or anything to, it might get positive feedback, but then like, where do I go from here? What do I, sometimes that's,
you mean like after you show someone? Or
yeah, I have a couple friends that sometimes like I'll run something by and they like it. They might have a couple notes on what to add. Sometimes if those notes aren't clicking with me, then I really don't know where to go from there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can see value in just holding all that to yourself and kind of trusting yourself with those decisions.
And then if you do that, if you just like endeavor to make a full project and then show people, then at least you have the first draft. You have something. The past few years I've been trying to get out of my way.
Sure.
Like I've been trying to just finish something and what do they say? Like write first, edit later.
Sure.
Yeah. That's been helpful for me. Yeah.
With this album, do you feel that there's something that ties all of the songs together? Is there a kind of cohesive idea behind this project?
Sort of.
Yeah.
The album title wanted to show you a friend of mine passed away, and it was last summer, and well, he was somebody I loved showing my music to. Such an encouraging, supportive person, and I didn't write all of those songs. I wrote a lot of them prior, most of them prior to his passing. But there's one song that I wrote about just wanting to show him. I found myself, I still find myself feeling that way, like when I'm writing something, like really wanting to show him. And then also I like how the title doubles as just that feeling of like wanting to share something with people, like wanting to maybe say things you don't feel like you can say, or I don't know, like just your inner world, like it's just nice to feel like that's shown to people. Sometimes it can be hard to, I feel like this is sort of cliche, but to feel like words really do it, you know, like communicate your inner experience. But yeah, I just love him, my friend, and I like, I don't know, I feel like he was there from when I was, we like went to high school together, so I don't know if I would even have continued to make music as steadily as I have. He was just like so encouraging, and yeah, it's just like for him. I don't know, or like dedicated. It's certainly like because of him. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
that's really beautiful. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
I do love the idea behind the project, as you were saying, like the idea of sharing or wanting to share something inside yourself, feeling like words can't do it. I think that like that's such a vulnerable thing to you know, to show the parts of yourself that, I don't know, I feel like it just ties into what we've been talking about, about kind of the behind the scene or the internal part of your creative process. I don't know.
There's such a push and pull. Like there's such a desire to want to show nice like parts of myself, and then a huge desire to hide, you know. And so maybe it's about that tension. I don't know. It's always fun to look back at songs and think, what does this mean? Or like, I don't know. I feel like I've heard a few artists say that about their work, that the meaning reveals itself to them, like over time.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. Do you look back at any of your work and feel like it's taken on a new meaning for you? Maybe like different from what you originally conceived it as, or just an additional new meaning that you've drawn from anything that you've made?
I remember having that thought. I can't remember about what. Sorry, but it's an interesting question. Do you?
No, not yet.
Not yet? Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's really interesting, kind of looking back at what you've made and reevaluating it. I guess, you know, do you feel like your experiences are what play a big part in that? You know, your experiences between then and now, or do you think it's just a factor of time? How do you feel about that?
I think it definitely could be experiences. I think it also can be just the insight you get about yourself. Is this like covered?
I have no, okay. No, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. Yeah, like how it just becomes different to look back on an old version of yourself, the version that made the thing. Like, I think if you get deepened insight on that version of yourself, then you get like deepened insight on the thing you made at that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that's a good insight. I think sometimes when I look back at things that I've made in the past, sometimes I have a hard time connecting to it now, you know, just it was a product of where I was. And but other times, you know, like you mentioned, sometimes I listen back to maybe something I didn't put out, but something I was working on, and I hear something new in that, and I hear, maybe I wasn't losing my mind when I made this, or maybe, I don't know. That's always a good feeling. It is fun to sometimes I feel like it's really fun to explore a product of your past self it's almost like experiencing art from another person, but like a little bit
Yeah,
different. You know,
yeah,
it's like reminding yourself like, oh
yeah,
yeah, wow, I made this, or there's something here maybe that I didn't hear
yeah.
before. I don't know.
I think it's healthy to, it can be hard though, thinking, oh, this was me. I wouldn't have made these compositional or mixing
mm,
choices, but it's associated with my name. Like
yeah,
that can be really hard, but I'm trying to be less neurotic about that. Um, yeah, it can be embarrassing, but
like
of course you're influenced by certain things, different things at different times, or you're
mm-hmm.
just like gain skill, or of course you change, but it can be hard. There can be like an embarrassment sometimes, like, oh, that's not what I would do now. But yeah, I'm trying to chill.
I think that's really natural to come with growth is just like a I don't know, looking back at where you grew from and wincing a little bit. Just
Yeah,
I don't know, that's tough. I think that's so natural.
whether it's
I
music
really connect with
or
that. I
whether
think that's
it's music or like behavior, like a personality, like
yeah.
any choices that you made in the past. But music's like a record. It's like, meaning not like a physical record, but there's a like on
Like a log.
Spotify,
Yeah.
there's a record of it, and I guess I could take old stuff down, but then I don't want to. I don't want
Yeah.
to let that part of me that's really embarrassed win.
I understand that. I
Yeah.
think about a lot of the time, like as someone who again is like really self-conscious a lot of the time about things I've put out, it's like people who I've shown them to who have positive reactions. I think about like if I were to down the road delete some songs, I don't know. I think about from my own perspective as a listener for other artists, like
Mm-hmm.
it would be I wouldn't feel any sort of way about it, but I'm just thinking about how it would look if one of my favorite artists or just anyone who I do listen to just went
Yeah.
back and felt self-conscious and deleted all their old stuff. And
Yeah.
like there are a lot of people some you know, not saying people
Be like,
listen to my
oh
stuff like
no, yeah,
the classics, but just it's an interesting thought. I think that
yeah,
is probably something so many artists think about.
right.
Um,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I admire people who, not that they don't think that, but who, uh, yeah, let parts of themselves be seen. Whether that's like, I don't know, some people perform and you're like, wow, you're really moving in a wild way, or, it's like, it's all hard. It's hard to, yeah, be perceived.
yeah,
Classic struggle. Yeah.
it is. It's I do also admire just like we talked about before we rolled the cameras, just like people who are empowered to express themselves like without reservation or without embarrassment,
Or in spite of it.
or in spite of it. That's a great point. Um, I think that's an aspiration of mine is to get to a point where
Yeah.
I have ideas and kind of nothing gets in between having the idea and
Hmm.
expressing the
But I
idea.
also have like so much anxiety in my life. And so, like, I don't know, I wonder, do some people not? I think it's different for everybody. Um, I don't know if I
How good
said,
is your art if you have no anxiety?
huh, interesting question. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
Yeah. Did I say this last time? Like, this is not a direct quote. I don't remember, but on Bjork's podcast, I think she said that playing shows has sort of felt like boot camp, or like, I don't think she used that term, but just like, I think she identified as an introvert, and she was
Hmm.
like, it's just so hard for people who maybe are more introverted or
Yeah.
anxious or something. But that's also made me like want to be so much kinder to like everybody who
Hmm.
puts themselves, not that I've been mean, but yeah, I just want to recognize like everybody who performs, who gets on a stage, or who puts out music. Like, that's hard.
Totally.
uh don't know. I've been thinking about that. Okay, there's been some
Yeah.
breezes, so I'm feeling your pain about like temperature right now.
Sorry, try to ignore
Yeah.
me shivering.
Oh
I'm all good.
no. Okay.
No, we I really I admire that a lot. I think that I think the same way of once you've been at that moment and kind of felt the anxiety of just really putting yourself out there. Yeah, I think I have such a greater respect for anyone who does.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's remarkable.
Me too. Yeah.
And then to do it and make something cool. That's that might be the harder part.
Yeah. What it
But-
like I'm curious what music you like. Doesn't have to I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
My inspiration comes from all over. For the last year or two, I've been really into juke and footwork. So like really, really into it.
Have you been to
Jungle
like DJ
and-
Spin stuff?
I just bought tickets 2 days ago for I don't know if you saw the DJ Spin High Tech Yanacita. It's like a Radius open air show.
Oh, cool.
It's gonna be really cool. It's
When
on the
is that?
21st of June.
Nice. I hope
who
it's
else
not
is
sold
there?
out.
It might have sold
Oh,
out
no.
quick. I don't know. I haven't
Okay.
looked.
Okay.
Tickets weren't that bad though. It was $28.
Nice. That's not bad.
It sounds like an
these
awesome
days.
show. Oh, and
yeah.
Nia Archives is also.
I don't know who that
Nia
is.
She's
Oh, yeah.
Jungle.
Yeah.
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 But
heard
yeah,
it wrong.
a lot of my inspiration has been coming less from the ambient side of electronic music and more from the like dance, dance, but also like hip hop infused
Yeah.
side. You know,
Mhm.
really from all over. But I think when I sit down and try to make something, it comes out as a bit of a fusion of like just every inspiration: ambient,
Yeah.
juke, jungle, orchestral, anything I can kind of
That sounds
conjure
really
at
cool.
the
That
moment.
sounds
Like
like
I
a cool
try to.
fusion.
I
Yeah.
just try to. It's just sounds that I'm trying to put together, and that's kind of where I get hung up right now. A lot of the time is the sound design and sound selection is such a tough piece of making music and
Yeah.
such an underappreciated art, I think.
Yeah,
and,
I agree. Yeah.
And I mean, it's one thing with physical instruments, and yeah, it's such an art to weave different sounds together. And
Yeah.
Again, so much respect for.
I
that.
agree. Yeah. The orchestral piece, like, are you using samples or like
To give-
VSTs?
To give you an idea,
Yeah.
like I'm working on something right now that's it's kind of a mess. It's like a big fusion of these big industrial sounds that are almost like straight from dubstep.
Like early
But
dubstep?
like
later?
more like it's this one big long Foley that I'm just chopping
Okay.
up into. I have a bunch of pieces. That's providing all of the kind of industrial sounds in it, but it starts out with like this like 40-second God, I guess I found choir samples of like individual notes, and then by like pitching them either up an octave or down an octave or like different semitones, I created chords with those just right in the piano roll.
Wow.
Or on the
Yeah.
playlist, and then
Oh, that sounds really cool.
it's
We
coming
gotta
together.
cut this.
It's cool.
We're revealing your secret. No, not
No, there's
because
nothing.
you're talking, but because this is the juice. Like, we can't reveal this to the
But I feel like when I slip it, sometimes it's just like I just hear something. There's something I can kind of grab onto, like a familiar element there where I feel like that's the inspiration in the moment. It's like, this is kind of reminding me of this, and it's not like, oh, I'm gonna bite this, but just like it's somewhere to bounce off of.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
and sometimes that
Yeah.
ends up in some really weird like
That
fusions
sounds
of
cool.
things. I made like there's one that one is out on my SoundCloud. There's a Chanel Embarrassed Dog by Chanel Beads mixed with Swaying by Ray Shremmerd.
No,
And
wait.
there's
I love both of those songs. I need to hear that. Yeah.
Maybe I'll let you listen. Yeah, I don't know. I just I'm someone who really tries to stay away from locking, like you mentioned earlier, kind of locking into the boundaries or confines of a genre, as comforting as that can be
Yeah.
for like to give you an idea of like what's acceptable to be working with it. And, you know, I think that it's really hard to make something crazy, you know, with those limits placed on yourself. So
where did he come from? But it is hard to who do you feel like is doing that, making things that are like in a contemporary way?
So it's funny, the trend of my like personal music listening, when I got to college, I feel like my friends knew me for how much music I listened to and the variety, and just that was something that I really, it was a big social thing for me, was to just be sharing music all the time with people.
You were the encyclopedia.
Yeah, but also like I had so many friends who were into such cool music and had such cool tastes. It was so much fun to connect with everyone over so many different things. And then like in the last couple of years, as I've gotten more into, also since I started producing, it's almost exclusively on SoundCloud. Just trying to find people just trying to find people that are doing weird things. There's someone on SoundCloud I've heard recently. I think his name, he goes by like 4 different names: Computer Man, DJC, Computer Doctor, making some really interesting music. There's a 16-second song called "Exercise in Free Will" that is exactly that. You know, just like just sound design and cool fusions of things. So things like that can sometimes be really interesting to me.
I want to hear that. I'm intrigued.
Why don't we go with just one more kind of like bigger picture question, and then we could wrap it up from there.
That sounds good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Let me look. How do you feel about making music in the modern age? I know that's something you spoke to a little bit earlier about kind of the uncertainty of the future, and I know obviously the climate of the world at large right now, but also the music scene, the industry is just, it's at an interesting point right now. Yeah, I'm kind of curious as to how you feel.
I think there's a lot of advantages, like with like I'm lucky to have a laptop, and I've had one for quite a while, and so I think it's so cool to have so many tools so readily available to you that I wouldn't have had if I was living in a different era. And I love that. But I struggle with this question too. Like, I don't know. I think because I don't really know how it would have been to try to make music and like engage with music communities in the past. I think there's clearly a lot of like difficult things right now about navigating like finding the time to make music in between, like, you know, having to make money and stuff like that. But I do think it's cool that we're making music at a time where people can find it maybe more easily than they could in the past. I don't know. Like, yeah. Another breeze. Are you okay? Yeah, that's something I like don't feel. I don't think about it a lot, this question.
Yeah.
I feel like I wonder if you relate. I can't imagine ever stopping making music in my life. It just, not because it's just like a compulsion or something, or and sometimes I just like don't care what it's for. Do you know what I mean? Like it's just it's like a process thing sometimes. Like it's just for the continued like experience of trying to make something you like or find beautiful. But I do kind of like worry if I ever have kids, which I don't know, like how will I don't know. I worry about like life becoming more demanding
Mm-hmm.
and then feeling like I have less time and ability to make music. So that wasn't an answer about like the state of the world, but like, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
I really, that's an interesting point you bring up about like for me right now, I agree with that. Music feels like an inevitability, or at least making, well, music in general does, but yeah, specifically making music is, I feel like, inevitable. I'm always gonna have a moment where I'm gonna pull out my laptop again and just make it for the sake of making something. Like I don't ever sit down with I don't have a project I'm putting together. So right now that's kind of the only place I'm coming from. But I think that's really interesting to think about. Would there be a point where, like, you know, for factors like time or just responsibilities, like, would there be a point where I couldn't do it when I wanted, or I couldn't convey what I wanted to because I didn't have the energy or the...
I know.
I don't know what
that's
it is,
another
but
thing,
it's
like physical energy that can... I don't know. Who knows what happens? Sorry to cut you off.
No,
though.
not at all. It was a good time to cut me off.
No, I didn't mean to. I just, I get like thoughts and then I like, yeah.
I saw a Instagram post like 2 weeks ago. It was a picture. It was really simple. It was just a picture of the original, the founder of Chipotle, standing in front of the first ever Chipotle. In like 1990, whatever it was, 99. And it gave me a feeling, and I think that's been on my mind a little bit in a bigger way lately. Just the idea of, I'm never gonna be a musician in the 90s. I'm never gonna know what that was like. And I know there are so many advantages to living in the world we live in. And I know this also is a topic that's probably been done to death. But like, to me, I feel like I'll always long for just knowing what it would have been like, or long for some of those things that just won't happen anymore, that for everyone to have their phones away at a, and like we talked about, like I feel like we are kind of coming to a head again. Like some things I feel like are organically just resetting. Like I go to some shows and it's uncool to have your phone out, now, and that's great. But at the same time, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'll always long a little bit to just feel that or know what that was.
I know.
A little bit.
Yeah. And we can't.
No.
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. Like, okay, that's a bad one. Yeah, the phone specifically, or even to like exist at a show or just anywhere without kind of like the urge to check my phone.
Yeah.
I have that thought often of like envying when my brain didn't even know that.
Yeah.
My brain didn't even know the potential of like scrolling on my phone. And well, I don't know that there was much of my life where my brain didn't know that, but I just mean like a different time where like people were just like, they were just where they were, and there was no option.
Well, there was no. It feels like now it's just that through so many different means, you're never. It's like never being more than, what is it, like a foot away from a spider. Like you're never more than.
It's not true.
It's an old myth, but but there's like, I think there's something to just, even if the phones are all away, you're out somewhere. There is that energy of that we're still so connected now. I think that's a feeling that doesn't go away. I think when you put your phone away, right? Sometimes, and I think,
I know my weekly screen time, and I'm like, even if I'm like, even if I'm like meditating or something, like my brain is still like affected by the experience of being on the phone for so like, it's like you can't unsee it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, with that,
I didn't know it was pronounced Hauskatze.
Hauskatze.
Oh, okay. Very different pronunciation in my mind.
It's a little unclear, isn't it?
I like it. I like unclear. I feel like Lipsticism is unclear.
I like that too.
Yeah. But thank you.
Thank you so much.